An independent report by consulting firm MNP has found changes may be needed in the way members of Winnipeg's Executive Policy Committee are chosen. For years, critics have argued that members of the powerful EPC are handpicked by the mayor. And then other members of council are sort of left in the dark when it comes to major decisions. On the line with us now is Kevin Klein. He is the Winnipeg City Councillor for Charleswood, Tuxedo, Westwood. Good morning, Councillor.
Good morning, Clay. How are you?
Very well. Why should Winnipeggers care about who? I mean, this happens every so often, but you tell me, why should Winnipeggers care about who's on EPC and who isn't?
Well, let me give you what I think are three very good reasons. Number one would be that we are the only jurisdiction in Canada that has the big mayor model. And that's this EPC model that is hand-selected by the mayor that gives them the majority at council. So you end up truly following one agenda. So we are the only ones left. Number two, what has really been accomplished in this city over the past several years? I mean, in the last 6 years, violent crime has skyrocketed in the city of Winnipeg. It has grown consecutively year after year after year after year. We've had 87 murders in 24 months. We need to reevaluate how we do things. The big mayor model would be the one way to do that. And the third is that you're spending over $250,000, maybe $300,000 in extra expenses and extra salaries to guarantee a vote for one small voting block at City Council. That, to me, is not democracy in action. Other cities in the country have found a better way. We can find a better way.
Now, Winnipeggers are being invited to go on to the city website and look at this governance review where, possible changes, if enough people call for it, the changes could be made in how EPC members are selected, correct?
Well, let me ask you the question. If EPC enjoys the way or the power that they have today, and they're the ones that would have to vote through any changes to the model, how do you think that's going to go?
Well, I know how it would go, but I'll ask you a question right back. If you were the mayor, how would you change that, or would you change that?
I would absolutely change that. I think every voice in City Council deserves to be heard. There are 16 people, including the mayor, on City Council. Everyone has a skill. Everyone brings something different to the table. And we have to utilize those individual skills. And we want to make sure that we're covering off everyone's opinion. We're listening to all the various voices. So I would look at the best practice models across Canada that have executive policy committees, but I would look at how they are functioning and why they are doing better than we are, and take those best practices and introduce them here in Winnipeg immediately.
All right. Moving on to another topic. It came up this week at City Council. Two of your colleagues, Councillors Sherry Rowlands and Cindy Gilroy, they're calling for a supervised drug consumption site where people could go and safely inject drugs. Are you in favor of that?
My colleagues on the executive policy, both Councillors Gilroy and Rowlands, can certainly put whatever policies they would like forward, and they have their, reasoning for it. But no, I'm not in support of that. I think the data and evidence has been shared before, and clearly we have a meth problem, and you cannot have a safe consumption site when you have a meth problem, period. That's all there is to it. Vancouver is successful with their safe consumption sites because they have medical professions that are in the safe consumption sites. They can take people to clinics right away if they need to, if they want help. We are not prepared to do that. This is something that we should not be looking at. This is not fixing a problem. This is a political posturing move, if anything.
Well, I'd actually I'm sort of up in the air on that. I'd really have to look at the pros and cons. But, you know, we've got a whole list of topics, and I'll just break format again because I'm supposed to take a break. So I'm gonna ask you what I've asked a number of people. I'm coming into work at the ungodly hour at 3:30 in the morning to come in for my shows, and as I get into the downtown area, I look over at the bus shacks, the bus shelters, and I see homeless people in there. You know, some of them have blankets, some of them have sleeping bags. They're trying to get out of the cold, Councillor. They're not waiting for a bus at 3:30 in the morning. Some listeners have sent texts in this morning saying that this is unsafe, there's COVID, these people aren't social distancing. And at the same time, I have interviewed a number of the homeless people in this town who won't or can't, for whatever reason, go to a homeless shelter. So I'm not sure what the solution is to this.
You know, it is. It's terrible to see. It's not. It's certainly not a way that you want to see your fellow human being living. It has become more prevalent this year than past because of COVID. Again, you know, 6 years we've seen crime raise, we've seen homelessness raise go up in the city. We have had many conversations about it. We've had all kinds of studies done. We have all kinds of committees going. Nothing is happening. We have a number of empty buildings that are owned by the city of Winnipeg, even in the downtown area, that if we really wanted to do something, if we really wanted to take action, and I had this issue on Thursday at the city council meeting where, you know, I just kind of crossed a threshold for me, and it was embarrassing to be on council because we spent an hour debating a button when we're not dealing with the real problems of the city. We have 3 floors of an entire building sitting empty. Why couldn't we work with the province and work with the feds instead of pointing fingers at everybody and looking for somebody else to fix the problem and do something? Let's take some action. A little baby step forward is at least a step forward towards resolve. Like, let's address these instead of talking the wonderful politically correct statements and making, you know, the right sound bites and getting the right headlines. We're not doing anything. Let's do something. Let's utilize this space. Let's actually take some action. Words are meaningless. Action is what counts.
Before I let you go, there was an hour-long debate about a button. What was that about?
Oh, my goodness. I do not want to relive that. I will.
Please do it.
You know, you can see it online, and I was quite sincere. I mean, we have a city council that is, you know, personally, it's so dysfunctional because there's so much division. You can see it online. You can see councillors' assistants attacking other councillors and votes being used against other councillors. And this button was for voting instead of standing to say if you're in support or opposed. The EPC and the mayor have buttons that they use.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. They want to use the buttons in council. Some don't want to. Some want to. Some, you know, there are some issues for people online. They wouldn't be able to know what's happening. So, I mean, really, if you look at all of the policies we put in place, hundreds of policies over the last couple of years, again, 87 murders in 24 months, violent crime on the increase. It goes up every single year. It increases. We've lost major lawsuits. But we have some serious problems that we're not addressing. And it's embarrassing to think that we would spend an hour debating a political marketing move, if you will. The buttons are nothing but political marketing. That's all it is.
I get you. Councillor, thank you for this.
Thank you for the time, Clay.
You take care now.
You too.
Kevin Klein is the Winnipeg City Councillor for Charleswood, Tuxedo, Westwood.